Good evening, everybody, and welcome. A few things before we actually do welcome and announcements. I just want to give Deshaun Dowdy our thanks for his service, and we wish him best in all of his endeavors. And anyone for District 2 who would be interested in applying to fill that seat, please have a resume and a letter of intent to the clerk's office by November the 21st by 4:30 p.m., correct? And that's a Friday, if I'm not mistaken, okay? I do want to acknowledge our delegate here, Barry Beecham in the back. Thank you and welcome. Hello. And I think we need to have a moment of silence for Delegate Charles Otto. He passed, what was last week?
It's been a couple weeks.
It's been a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. Let's have a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the November 10th, 2025 legislation session of the Salisbury City Council. In the event of an emergency, please remain calm and exit through the double doors that you came in, make a right, and proceed to the stairwell. If the hallway is blocked, then exit to the left, around the corner, and down the stairs. Please do not use the elevator, and let us know if you need any assistance. At this time, I will ask everyone to please silence your cell phones. Pledge allegiance. Councilwoman DeShiel, would you like to lead us in Pledge Allegiance this evening? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Our invocation this evening, we ask Reverend Dr. Vaughn Hayden, there you are, from Trinity United Methodist to come forward and provide us our invocation this evening.
Thank you, City Council, Mayor, citizens. If you would bow with me for a word of prayer. Almighty God, we thank you for the privilege we have to live in this wonderful nation and this great state. And we thank you now for this opportunity to be a part of Salisbury and all that you have given us to do. We know we have a lot to do in this session tonight, and each week, each month, each day, we seem to have so much busyness going on. But Lord, we pray that we would continue to trust and lean on you for all the things that we need, that as we make decisions, that your Holy Spirit would guide us and you would lead us so that we can make good and right decisions for the betterment of all our citizens, that you would help us to be respectful to each other, help us to continue to learn to love and to serve each other, and that you would continue to watch over and protect this great city in this great state. Lord, I know as we're approaching Thanksgiving and we have many people in our communities that have been in need, especially with the recent government shutdowns and all the things that go through that. We pray that you would help us to be generous when we can and to reach out and to share and show our love to each other, helping those in need at every opportunity we get. And we pray that tonight we would be able to continue to share and show our love to each other in this meeting. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so we have a proclamation this evening. Councilwoman Jackson will now present a domestic violence awareness proclamation.
Good evening. Okay, good evening. Ooh, I was like, wow. We should all be glad to be here today. With the experience that I've experienced in the last week, I've had a young lady who was murdered through domestic violence and mental illness, and she was like a daughter to me. So this is sacred to me, and it's also sacred to the lady who has started to do Women for Women walks and programs for domestic violence. But I would also like to let you know that women are not the only ones that go through domestic violence. Men go through it, children go through it. So you just be mindful. And some of the signs, when you see the signs, get away. Just move away. Get out of sight. Do whatever you have to do, because this young lady was crying out for help but didn't know how to go about getting the help that she needed. And when I assisted her, she thought about her kids. She didn't want to leave because of her kids. She didn't want to leave her kids behind. So, something to ponder on. It's a serious thing that's going on in today's society. That and mental illness is working hand in hand. So I'm going to read this proclamation. Charmaine Bolden, come forward. She was a young lady who did the Women for Women walk, October the 25th, in the Salisbury City Park. It took place. It was lovely, and I think this was your first one.
Yes.
First one, and it was lovely. I did attend. I didn't walk, but I did attend. And I would like to see next year when she does it again that we will have more attendance, a better attendance, better, showing of people supporting, because in every family there is domestic violence. So the support that we give her, it gives support back to the people who are being violated or being abused. So I'm going to read this proclamation, and I'm surprised I'm not crying, but I'm not going to cry tonight. City of Salisbury proclamation. Whereas domestic violence is a pervasive public health and a human rights issue that affects individuals, families, and of all races, ages, gender, and social economy backgrounds, leaving deep emotional, physical, and psychological scars. And whereas in the United States, millions of people each year experience intimate partner violence, and far too many lives are lost to act of domestic abuse, reminding us that silence and inaction only enable continued harm. And whereas the City of Salisbury is committed to raising awareness, supporting survivors, holding abusers accountable, and working together to break the cycle of violence through education, prevention, compassionate community response. And whereas organizations across the Eastern Shore alongside local law enforcement, advocacy groups, healthcare providers, faith-based institutions play a vital role in providing safety, shelter, and resources for those impacted by domestic violence. Whereas during Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we reaffirm our shared responsibility to speak out against abuse and to believe and support survivors and to promote healthy, respectful relationships throughout our community. And whereas every individual deserves to live free from fear and harm, and our collective actions can create a culture where safety, dignity, and equality are fundamental rights for life. Now, therefore, I, April R. Jackson, District 1 representative of the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in our city, and urge all citizens to speak out against domestic violence, support those who are affected, educate themselves about the signs of domestic abuse, and foster a cultural respect and equality in our relationship and communities. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand and seal of the City of Salisbury to 10th day of November 2020 as that Domestic Violence Awareness. Because Jamaica was a part of this program too, and I know she's holding me because she knows how I'm just, y'all just don't even know. Last week before last was a tragedy to me, and it really affected me. It really affected me. And just knowing I was with this young lady, Friday? Just with a Friday. And a month ago, I spoke with her, and I said, I can get you out of here, but you have to leave your children, because your children will contact somebody that's back here, and he's going to find out where you are. And I didn't want to put my family in harm's way, because that's where she would have gone with one of my family members, but she didn't want to do that. She thought more of her kids than she knew her life, because she told me that Sunday morning, he's going to kill me. So anybody in here that's going through domestic violence, I'm a 2-time survivor. I have gone through it twice in my life. And I pray to God that I never have to go through that ever in my life again. It was horrible, but I was spared. I got out, and I don't look like what I've been through. Don't look like what I've been through. So, Jamaica, y'all come up and, could someone take a picture? And well, actually, can we go, we'll take a picture with them, and then we'll go behind the council and take a picture with them. Okay, come on this side. Yeah.
One, two, three. She wants everybody
Where's your purple?
from the table.
Bow tie, bow.
Okay. I'm gonna have you guys leave it. Yeah, you guys. Proclamation.
Okay, right here. Let me put my glasses. Can we move this stuff out, though? Slide it
Yes,
down.
yes.
Alan, where are you? Hannah, where are you?
Is that better?
You're part of us.
You get up there, I'll take a picture.
And you too, Ashley. You are part of us. Come on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, April.
Thank you, Jane.
That was
That was a lot.
Thank you, Councilwoman Jackson. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, now we'll have the presentation and the adoption of the agenda. Ms. English will now present the legislative agenda.
Good evening, council. On this evening's agenda, we have 7 resolutions. We have 6 ordinances, second readings and first readings, and we have public comment and then adjournment.
Okay, thank you. Before we get into the resolutions, I just did want to ask Ms. Boucher a question as we get into the Planning Commission list. I had a question earlier today in regards to this list and the constitutionality with people living outside of Salisbury. Were you able to get any grip on that?
I have not had the opportunity. I just would point out that this would challenge the underlying legislation, not the resolutions, and that resolution, or that legislation is consistent with what we heretofore had been done because we had a joint commission for county and city. So I don't see, I mean, if it was an issue, it's been an issue for...
For the dawn of time?
Yes.
The dawn of time, then?
Yes.
Very well, okay. Well, what we'll do is, I know there's not agreement on the list.
Do a motion in a second to adopt the,
Can I have a motion and a second to adopt the legislative agenda?
So move.
Second.
Okay. Anything about, you want to table?
Well,
did we do a
I'd
vote?
like,
Did we vote?
yeah, we didn't vote.
Yeah,
Okay.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
We didn't.
No.
Motion second.
We did.
All in favor?
Yeah.
all in favor?
Say aye.
And the chair votes aye. Now we're getting down to the question of anything else before we go on.
So, yeah, I was going to make a motion to table it until we could get, because I'm concerned that, yes, the Wycomico, the joint one we had, but that was because it encompassed Wycomico County as well, and I'm worried that there's, does that impact the legality of it? Like, it was the joint commission we had. That was my question. I
The
wasn't-
Joint Commission, though, ruled upon city matters.
Right.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Okay, so I think at this time, we'll go down to the resolutions. We will now move to the resolutions in this section of the agenda. And I think, Julie, are you reading the resolutions?
Yes.
Yes,
I
correct.
can get myself together over here.
Okay,
So resolution number 3425 is for the appointment of David Chiddington to the Salisbury Planning Commission for term ending November 2030.
can I get a motion and a second to approve the resolution 3425?
So move.
Second?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Was this, I'm looking at the names on the agenda, and there are some of them that are not, I'm sorry, I know we're voting on this, but like, there are some of them that I don't think were on the list previously, too. So I'm just curious as to, because some
Yes,
of
they
these
were.
are,
All these names were on that
Were they?
previous,
Okay.
yes. All these
All
names were on
right.
that previous list. We sat here and we made the list out and we
I
presented.
know,
Yeah,
I
we
know,
presented
I
to the
know.
mayor and what we wanted and how we wanted it, and he has satisfied this list.
all right, well, aye.
Okay, so all in favor, any opposed? The chair votes aye. Ms. English?
Resolution number 3426 is for the appointment of Susan Rawl to the Salisbury Planning Commission for term ending November 2030.
Can I get a motion and a second to approve Resolution 3426?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Chair votes aye. Ms. English?
Resolution number 3427 is for the appointment of Anthony Dickerson to the Salisbury Planning Commission for term ending November 2029.
Can I get a motion and a second to approve Resolution 3427?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Any opposed?
No.
Say aye.
We have two in favor.
No,
We all in-
you just had a motion and a second, you didn't get in favors.
All in, I didn't hear you answer.
Oh, I didn't hear you say it.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes nay. Resolution passes. Resolution 3428.
So move.
Second?
Resolution number 3428 is for the appointment of, forgive me if I mispronounce any of these names, Latanya SQ to the Salisbury Planning Commission for term ending November 2028.
So moved.
Second?
Can I get a motion for a second to approve Resolution 3428? Sounds like we did. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Resolution 3429.
Resolution number 3429 is for the appointment of Michael Pierunsky to the Salisbury Planning Commission for term ending November 2030.
Can I get a motion and a second to approve Resolution 3429?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Resolution 3432.
Resolution number 3432 is for the appointment of Matt Drew to the Salisbury Planning Commission for term ending November 2028.
Can I get a motion and a second?
So move.
Second.
Okay, to approve, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, and the chair votes aye. Resolution 3433,
Resolution number 3433 is for the appointment of Lynn Bratton to the Salisbury Planning Commission for term ending November 2029.
can I get a motion and a second to approve Resolution 3433?
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes nay. Passes. Okay. Now we're going to move on to ordinances. Thank you, council. Before we do move on, everybody on the Planning Commission, please stand. This is new. This is our new Salisbury Planning Commission. Please stand. Thank you. I know it's a lot of dedication to our city, and we appreciate your time and energy in this purpose. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to ordinances. Ordinance number 2957, the second reading to correct ordinance number 2883, approving the budget amendment to the city's general capital project fund to provide additional funds for the Truett Street Community Center expansion. Can I get a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2957?
So move.
Second?
Good evening, everyone. Ordinance number 2957 is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury to correct ordinance 2883, approving a budget amendment to the city's general capital project fund to provide additional funds for the Truett Street Community Center expansion. Before you tonight for second reading, no changes or amendments.
Okay, all in favor? Oh, wait a minute, I need the second, I need the motion, do I not? Can I get a motion and a second to approve the ordinance 2957
So moved.
for second reading?
So
Second.
move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Ordinance 2958, the second reading, for the abandonment of a portion of a road known as Burton Street located east of Delaware Avenue. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the ordinance for a second reading?
So move.
Second?
Ms. Boucher?
Ordinance number 2958, as you mentioned, this is before you tonight for second reading, and it is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury for the abandonment of a portion of a road known as Burton Street located east of Delaware Avenue. No changes or amendments.
Okay, can I get a, oh, I already, excuse me, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Okay. Ordinance 2960, second reading, approving the budget amendment to the city's general fund for lease proceeds to purchase police radios, fire radios, and AED heart monitors to change the funding source of the property and records department management systems previously approved under Schedule B with the FY 2026 budget ordinance 2395. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the ordinance 2960 for a second reading?
So move.
Second?
Ms. Boucher?
Ordinance number 2960, this is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury approving a budget amendment to the city's general fund for lease proceeds to purchase police radios, fire radios, and AED heart monitors, and to change the funding source of the property and records department management system previously approved under Schedule B with the FY 2026 budget ordinance number 2935. Again, as you mentioned before you tonight for second reading, there have been no changes or amendments.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Ordinance number 2962, second reading, amending Chapter 2.12.040 of the Salisbury City Code to update a chain of command of the Director of Infrastructure and Development. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the ordinance number 2962 for second reading?
So move.
Second?
Ms. Boucher?
Certainly. Ordinance number 2962, an ordinance of the City of Salisbury amending Chapter 2.12.040 of the City Code to update chain of command of the Director of Infrastructure and Development, as this is before you tonight for second reading. This is a change to the code. There are also the 2 changes to the charter that we'll be tracking, but are still scheduled for a public hearing. But no changes for this ordinance tonight from second reading.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Ordinance number 2963, first reading, amending the Schedule C included in fiscal year 2026 budget ordinance 2935 for the period of July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the ordinance 2963 for the first reading?
So move.
Second?
Ordinance number 2963, this is an ordinance of the city amending Schedule C included in fiscal year 2026 budget ordinance 2935 for the period of July 1, 2025 to June 30, 2026. Before you tonight for first reading.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye.
May I make one comment on this?
Yes.
I'd like to thank Sandy Green, Director of Finance, I don't see her here, for clarifying the question I had about the change in homeless funding. So, thank you, Sandy.
Ordinance number 2964, first reading, authorizing a budget amendment for the mayor to transfer $165,000 from surplus to provide additional financial support to the Waterside Park project. Can I get a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 2964 for first reading?
So move.
Second?
Ordinance number 2964, an ordinance of the city authorizing a budget amendment for the mayor to transfer $165,000 from surplus to provide additional financial support for the Waterside Park project. Before you tonight for first reading.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Can I say something about this project?
Can I say aye?
Oh, do we vote?
No, I have.
Oh, sorry.
And chair votes aye. That's okay.
Okay.
Yes, Councilwoman Jackson, please.
I'm very, very pleased with the funding that's going through for the Waterside Park. It's been long needed. It's long overdue because I, actually being a resident of that neighborhood, basically the only thing they have in there is a swing set and a basketball court. And they do need pavilions, bathrooms, and some other things, and lights, which probably will come later on down the line, but thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome.
Absolutely. Okay, now we're going to move on to our public comments. We will now hear the public comments. You have 3 minutes to speak on any topic. If you wish to comment, please come up to the podium and state your name, and if you are a city resident, with no, sorry, we're not there yet. Mr. Langford, we yield to you.
You finish your?
Yes, we yield to you, Mr. Langford, we're done. And who's, Miss Julie English is taking care of the clock.
All right. My name is Michael Langford. I live at 1026 Arthur Court. I'm a city resident. I have some prepared comments to share. When an elected official knowingly and intentionally violates the rule of law meant for us all, it is something deeply unethical and ought to bar them from the ability to serve public office in the future. And it is in the public's best interest to know the actions which took place because, make no mistake, Mr. Deshaun Dowdy has misrepresented himself to such an extent that he has lied to the City Election Board, the City of Salisbury Incorporated Municipality, his fellow council members, his constituents of District 2, and every resident of the City of Salisbury, over 30,000 people who actually live here. By spending at least the majority of 2025 outside of Wicomico County, let alone the city, Mr. Dowdy has selfishly and callously acted upon a philosophy of rules for thee and not for me. It is deeply hypocritical and wrong for someone to gatekeep a position of power in this way to benefit themselves. It is one of the most shockingly selfish acts I've ever witnessed. He has broken the oath he took when he initially was appointed and took a seat on the council. Thus, I filed a complaint on October 2nd of this year, in which I provided over 60 pages of documentation to substantiate the claim that Mr. Deshaun Dowdy has been working and domiciling outside of his elected district, which disqualifies him from public service as council member for City Council per the City Code SC 2-2 and Charter Resolution number 2024-2. To share with people the process and the effort of transparency so that people can know, the first thing that I did in this process was just listen. And people talk. And a lot of times I take things with a grain of salt. But when I continuously hear that Mr. Dowdy was living across the bridge from multiple people who don't believe the same things, that don't affiliate with one another, I just looked into it. And all I did was Google it. You can Google his name and the word bank, and you'll find out where he works. The wild part was going and finding that Deshaun was living in Essex, which for people who don't know where Essex is, that makes sense because it's Baltimore County, over 3 hours away. I listened, I followed a process, and I trusted city officials to carry out the city's investigation, and I waited. And the fruits of that process is that a corrupt politician is no longer in office, and that someone else from our city gets an opportunity to serve. And that people know that they can do more to better the quality of service we receive from the government by paying attention and upholding the integrity of a process. I want to thank the City Election Board and City Clerk for carrying out the process professionally and efficiently as was possible while Mr. Dowdy was non-responsive to the city's inquiries. To Mr. Dowdy, I say good riddance and look forward to seeing what City Council will be able to accomplish when the person at the helm, the chairperson, which is what we call the City Council President, is merely the chair of the committee. They're not actually an executive. It's just an honorific. Anyway, the chairperson chooses to serve the public's interest in the residents of Salisbury over personal ambition and political theatrics. Sometimes public officials will do things we disagree with, which I think a lot of people are here tonight to talk about. But it is another more disturbing thing when a public official actually lies to us, violates their oath of office, and breaks the law. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Langford.
Nice work, huh? Thank you, Michael, for your public service. Joe Venosa, City of Salisbury. We're going to be talking about the backstory to this investigation and the extent to which Mr. Deshaun Dowdy betrayed the City of Salisbury, the taxpayers, frankly, his own family name with his actions. And we'll be having an episode on that that'll drop later this week, where Mr. Langford will give full details with documentation. On that note, it is very pathetic and sad that no local media has bothered to actually investigate the story. As usual, local public media and private media simply regurgitated Mr. Dowdy's, maybe that's him, they regurgitated his very self-serving letter rather than actually investigate it. So that's deeply disappointing. Nobody's phone? Nobody knows?
It's somebody's phone.
Can we
It's not me.
can we pause the time for a minute on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know.
That's so weird.
Is it yours?
Come on, Joe. It's Venosa luck. What are you gonna do?
Okay.
All right. Where was I? Sorry.
Wasn't me. It's not me.
I love.
If it was me, I apologize.
Age and technology. That's how it works.
I love this town. All right.
Sorry about your time, Joe.
It's all right. That's all right. He brought back pastries from New York City for my wife the other day, cannolis. So I can't be mad at this gentleman. So thank you, Joe. But no, in all seriousness, the issues with Mr. Dowdy run deep and are of grave concern. And again, I'm very disappointed that the local media, which unfortunately has political connections to Mr. Dowdy and to his main political benefactor, Jake Day, has refused to really investigate it. That is why citizens like us on Open Agenda have had to resort to investigative journalism as amateurs because there's been an absence of it. It's frankly disappointing and disgraceful. Speaking of disgraceful, I have to say this. When I was 7 years old, I remember visiting with my mom, my grandfather at the time, and I didn't know what he had, but he was very thin, very tired, very weak. Turned out he was dying of AIDS. And at the time, I had met a guy who was living with him and didn't realize until later that it was his then boyfriend. My grandfather died of the early AIDS epidemic in New York that destroyed New York's gay community. And I thought about that a lot this week with regard to the erasure of the crosswalk, because I think for a lot of people it goes beyond just the legal arguments, which are valid, into a human issue. A lot of people are going to come up here and criticize the mayor tonight, and I think that's deservedly so. I think the mayor taking away the crosswalk is wrong, although Jake Day putting it in there for political purposes was also legally wrong because it exposes the city to liability. But getting rid of it, I think, is far worse. It's ironic that it's come to this, that the mayor's decided to do this, because you didn't really have a mandate for it. You know, I think we all would admit the only reason that you won the election is largely because Megan Outen entered the race late against Jermichael Mitchell and split the Democratic vote. I was part of that campaign. I'm sorry to say it's a very big regret. And to you, Jermichael, I've said this before, I'm deeply sorry for being a part of this. And many of these people up here tonight are going to political grandstand on that issue. But the fact remains, sir, you don't have a mandate to do this. You should not do it. And please think of constituents who are really going to feel it on a human level. Thank you.
Joe Schiaffino, Salisbury resident. I wasn't going to speak, but I saw a despicable article on Nextdoor calling the mayor a bigot because he was removing a crosswalk. I agree with Joe Venosa. You know, the previous administration really shouldn't have permitted it, but he did. It's there, and it's there. I mean, personally, I would have let it go. But I've known the man 2 years. In my opinion, he's no bigot. And if anybody knows the neighborhood the man lives in, a multiracial, multicultural neighborhood, I don't know any bigots that would live in that kind of a neighborhood. Now, just because you're opposed to a crosswalk being on public property doesn't mean you're anti-gay. Same way that when the Supreme Court said you can't have Christian symbols like a creche and a manger on government property doesn't make you an anti-Christian. Just because you're pro-Palestinian doesn't make you an anti-Semite. So I want to submit to those of you that support the crosswalk, please, just because, you know, maybe it's, you know, it could be a mistake removing it, but it doesn't make the person a bigot. You know, if it opens a door, what other group's going to want something on public property? We have beautiful murals around town. There's a fantastic Frederick Douglass mural on a Purdue building. Right on Church Street, there are some black historic leaders on murals. It could have been done that way and there wouldn't have been an issue. But again, it doesn't make a person a bigot because they disagree with a symbol on public property. Thank you.
Hello. Am I good?
Can't hear you.
My name is Emily Zerenner. I'm a resident of the city of Salisbury in District 5. I've come to comment about the mayor's plans to repave in downtown Salisbury using this project to remove the pride crosswalks that are located near the library. This comes after backlash about his initial plan to cover up these crosswalks with a poorly executed public participation project for folks to submit new art ideas for that space. These pride crosswalks were the first in Maryland, and for me, as a resident who moved here in 2022, completely by myself, they were a big deal in making me feel welcomed to the community. It is short-sighted and heinous that the mayor will be removing them with this repaving project with no plan for replacement in any way. This action signals to the LGBTQIA community and folks that are allies that they are not welcome in Salisbury. This is especially important in this time we find ourselves in, where members of this community are facing more and more retaliation simply for being who they are. The mayor can say that it remains true to the principles of fairness and inclusion, or that the goal of this administration is to foster a welcoming environment for all residents, one that respects diversity. but actions speak louder than empty words. Thank you for your time.
My name is Suzanne Mello, and I am a resident of the city of Salisbury on Druid Hill Avenue. There's been a lot of stuff said already that I would probably be echoing. One of the things that really hit me tonight when we said the Pledge of Allegiance was the end. Liberty and justice for all. I've lived in this town since I was 18. I came to college down here, fell in love with this community. Still am in love with it, but I'm sad now. Incredibly sad. For the first time probably since I moved here, and I've lived here and worked here and paid taxes here, I've started thinking, is this still my home? I'm really starting to feel like maybe it's not. And that makes me even sadder. Because of all the places, I started out in Texas, and all the places that I've lived as an Army brat and as a preacher's kid, this was the first place that I landed and felt like, I want to stay here. This feels right. That crosswalk, and I hear the different things about it. You know, it was the first in Maryland, yes, recognized, others are doing it now too, because it symbolizes welcoming and safety. And I have lived through times here in this town, on the shore, where it wasn't safe for me. And I don't want to go back to that. Like I said, paid my taxes. I'm a citizen. I'm an American. But I had second-class rights back then. And since then, we've come further and further. And I feel proud of what I've been able to accomplish in my life. And I've done it here. And I ask for that chance for others. I ask that chance for these kids in the public school, in the home schools, that they feel welcome and safety. All of them. Mm-hmm. All of them. That's all I have to say.
Your podium's falling apart. Deborah Rossi, I'm the Executive Director of Help and Outreach Point of Entry. I am not a citizen of the city, but I represent an agency that resides at 129 Broad Street. I am an ally, and I appreciate everybody's passionate comments tonight. I don't want to detract from that, but I am going to change the subject just a bit. My agency serves homeless and unsheltered, low-risk, at-risk and low-income individuals here in the city and the surrounding counties. Recently, I was told, my timer's not going. Thanks. Recently, it came to my attention that there was a sweep planned for our Riverwalk area and belongings were going to be removed. And that was, I found out on Thursday evening it was planned for today. And I reached out via email to the city administration. I was lucky enough to be in the same room with them. And I met with Nick and Alan, talked to the mayor briefly, asking for an extension to allow me and other agencies like mine that do street outreach to give individuals that we work with regularly time to remove their belongings and help come up with a more sustainable solution. That's going to take a lot of time, the sustainable solution part. We're looking into some different options. But on this Sunday, our cold weather shelter opens. And so this morning at 8 o'clock, I went out to make contact with anyone that I could. Every individual that I came in contact with did express interest in being signed up for the cold weather shelter. And when I looked at the bridge, they said, our side is clean. Now, I did not know that there were two sides of the bridge. I just knew that it was a place where people who had nowhere else to go could seek shelter. But if you went and you looked, one side was completely clean. All of the trash cans were full with belongings that had been discarded per the notices put up. And they had removed their belongings, or they did ask me if they could store them safely. The other side of the bridge, where I wasn't aware of who was there because no one was left this morning, nothing had been removed. So I will work with other outreach teams to see if we can make contact with those individuals that may only be seeking shelter there during the very, very late hours of the evening. But I think it's important for the citizens of Salisbury, for the administration and the council to all know that not all of the homeless are homeless for the same reason. I had an incredibly hard week last week, facing challenges with people in mental health crisis. And, yes, we have chronically homeless. I have working homeless. I have families that are homeless. And I just appreciate the response that I was given for my simple ask that they could meet it, and they did. The people I was out to protect were protected. I will work this week. And I don't think that you always hear that sometimes the answer is yes, we can do that. No problem. The sweep's going to happen. It's going to happen again. It needs to happen. There's trash under there. There are blankets under there that my agency gave out. I'll do everything I can to figure out who they belong to. And when they get swept away, I'm going to give them a new one, and they'll probably be under there again. But today I am here to say thank you both for your response, and I'll do my best to be a good collaborator for our mutual goals.
Hi, Lana Foley, city resident. I'm here about Housing First. Housing First has been an incredible lifeline and first step in giving people safety, stability, and dignity. We all want the same thing, a safe place to call home, food in our bellies, and a community where people can grow. Housing First gives people the foundation to start to rebuild their lives, but we can't let that foundation turn into a ceiling. We need to have a next step for people. We have a housing shortage across every level of the market. In Salisbury, you see homes that sold in 2015 now being sold for $200,000 or more than when they were bought. That's not sustainable or attainable. That kind of financial growth is only caused by supply and demand, which also leads me to the rental market. Right now, a handful of people own hundreds or even thousands of rental properties. That kind of concentration has created a dam of affordability. When only a few control the market, purchase prices soar, rent prices climb, quality drops, and those who rent lose their voice. Some of our current rental communities are absolutely disgusting. Renters are afraid to speak up. They fear homelessness because there's nowhere else to go. That should never be the way of our city. We need accountability, we need stronger oversight, and we need to add balance back into our rental and housing pool. So what's the next step? We build. We stop holding up building permits and start pushing them through. We streamline the process for responsible development to happen. We don't have to build only affordable housing. We just have to build something, because every new home built opens a door for someone else. We need to start thinking about housing as a circle, because it is one. Apartments, starter homes, family homes, downsizing, senior living, they're all connected. When one part of that circle breaks, the entire system suffers. If families can't move up, new families can't move in. If retirees can't downsize, younger families can't find homes to grow into. The circle stops turning, and so does our community's growth. Growth should lift everyone. Those who need housing first, those who need housing next, and those who have supported this city for decades. We need to ask ourselves, do we want growth or do we want to stay stuck? Because if we truly want progress, if we want a stronger, fairer Salisbury,
then it starts with homes. Homes that people can move into, grow in, and grow out of. Homes that complete the cycle, the circle. Let's be a city that welcomes growth instead of fearing change. Let's build the future we keep talking about. We can solve hard problems when we work together. Thank you.
I thought that.
Hi, good night, or good evening. My name is Mike Perunsky. Good night. Good night to some of you. Just wanted to thank the council and the mayor for the opportunity to serve on the planning commission. I take the role really seriously, and I'm looking forward to, I already met one of my commission members, and I know Matt Drew known him for a long time, so I'm looking forward to working with him. So, but one of the things I want to talk about tonight, actually I want to talk about two things. One thing is the Waterside Park project. I'm actually right there with April. I'm extremely excited to see this project come to fruition for a few reasons. One is that I think it's really important that we commit city dollars to improving infrastructure and facilities that all residents can use and that's in the neighborhoods where people live. I think that's really important. Not everyone can come downtown. People need safe places to go in their neighborhood. So I think it's really important. I'm going to add to that, though, is that if you try to find any information about this project on the city website, you will be looking forever. And that's incredibly disappointing. And I probably come up here and mention that particular topic almost every time I give a comment, which is you can't find information about any public works projects that the city is spending dollars on the city website. You can find it. It's in the bid portal. If you don't know what the bid portal is, join the club because most people who pay their taxes don't know that that's the only place where you can find information. And you can't go there and see, we've spent a total of $10 million on waterworks projects this year, where we've spent $500,000 on parks. We've spent $500,000 on community centers. I think when people see that information, it's reassuring to them to know where their money's going. And kind of on that topic, I wanted to talk about the transportation priority letters that the city puts together on an annual basis. That's submitted to the state in a joint effort with other municipalities in Wycomico County. The letter this year was unsigned, and it comes from the Department of Infrastructure and Development. But there's a number of priorities on there. Some of them are sort of esoteric goals, big picture goals. Some of them are just small-time transportation projects that affect neighborhoods. I don't know how the city comes up with that list or any way to take part in helping to shape that list. So if somebody could help me figure that out, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. My name is Eugene Hernick. I'm a Salisbury Salisbury citizen, and I'm on the Parks and Rec Committee. I want to thank April as well for getting the money here, and the mayor for getting the money for the Waterside project. I wanted to back up with what my chairperson for the committee also says on that. I do think that we need to spend more money on parks in this community. A lot of them are in a very poor state, and we keep pushing projects further and further down the line. And money for projects end up going to other areas like art installations into parks instead of things that could expand park access for people with disabilities or something like that, maybe like a sensory trail or something like that. We instead push it to things that honestly is not going to help access into the parks or get more people to go to these parks. And we should really be pushing our citizens to enjoy the activities that we have in this city. And the fact that we don't and that we're putting it to the backside, and we have to wait years for a project that, like the Waterside project, is it's a detriment to this community.
Agreed.
And instead of finding things that are divisive or anything like that, or paving projects or something that could be, in all fairness, is a waste of money for this community, let's funnel it to what's important, and that's our youth, access to safe spaces, and honestly, our parks are beautiful here. No one goes to them. And the Riverwalk, and we were talking about the homeless, and it's a terrible thing. Nobody feels safe going to the Riverwalk. No one. It's a beautiful area, but anybody who goes there, you're going to be having a bob and weave homeless people. And that's a terrible thing that these folks are in this situation. But we need to come together as a community and find out solutions, because we can't expect our citizens to enjoy the beauty that is Salisbury if we can't experience it, or we can't feel safe going to it. And that's really all I wanted to say. And I feel like when we do talk about the budget next year, let's focus on maybe expanding the budget and getting some of these parks rehabilitated up, because they're in bad spots. Some of the parks you see people speeding like it's 100 miles an hour going across an area where these kids are supposed to be playing. We should be putting speed bumps there so that people can't do that. I'd rather see those in the budget than what we currently put into the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, Salisbury resident Robert Taylor. 2 speakers ago, a good point was made about putting on the website information about contracts and proposals. Take a look at the county, the county's website. They have such a feature on it. I don't think it's special software. I think it's something they designed themselves. It's been on the county website for 10, 12, maybe 15 years. Goes back that far. Has all the information, RFPs, contract terms, who the bidders were, and copy it. That's all you have to do. It's probably free. Take a look. Thank you.
Any other public comments? I just want to make sure. Any other public comments? With no further public comments, this legislative session is now adjourned. I'm going to call to order the work session. It is 6:57 p.m. And we're going to go ahead and start right into the work session. We have a presentation, the third quarter 2025 statistical update from the Salisbury Fire Department. Fire Chief Rob Frampton.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How's everybody?
And well, good.
How you
good,
doing?
Welcome.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So we're going to get started with the third quarter update of your Salisbury Fire Department.
Thanks.
So looking at the first 3 quarters of 2024 versus the first 3 quarters of 2025, you can see overall we had a 5.1% call increase, fire and EMS calls together. That's slightly higher than what our annual trend has been. Typically, we trend around 4%. We'll dive a little deeper into the specifics of that, but you can see fire's not been a huge significant increase. A lot of it's been EMS calls. No surprise there. EMS always tends to outpace fire with regards to that. It should be noted that since 2022, even with this 4 to 5% increase year over year, we've not added any staff. So we're still handling this the call increase over these years with the same amount of staff that we had in 2022, which was the 12 safer people that we added back then. And you can see we continue to, with the call increase, obviously the minutes in between calls goes down, which means that our units are less available than they normally are. For those that like pretty pictures, this shows just the continual change over those years of 2023, 2024 for the first 3 months in 2025. So breaking it down a little bit further, I know everybody likes to say, you know, where are the calls? Are they in the city? Are they in the county? Are they outside of the county? Where are we going? This clearly shows that our call increase has been outside of the city limits, which gives us a little bit more ammunition when it comes time to discuss funding from the county. So both EMS calls and fire calls outside of the city limits are up much higher than what those are that are inside of the city limits. EMS calls also outside of our district means that we're going out to assist other agencies more than we have in the past. That would be assisting Hebron, Delmar, Fruitland, Parsonsburg, things like that. So you can see definitely doing a lot more work with the same amount of people, and we definitely will be going on the communicating with the county as we move forward in some of our discussions with funding as they get through their budget year. So some more pictures here just to kind of put that into a little different perspective for you. So how are we doing? In the first three quarters of 2025, we responded to 188 cardiac arrests. I like to identify the most serious calls that we respond to. Of that 188, we actually attempted resuscitation efforts on 112. And we were able to resuscitate and have people and have them discharged from the hospital. That's really what we want. It's not just to resuscitate them, get them back to the hospital, and have them pass away there. It's actually get them back out in the community. And of that 112, we were able to get 26 of them back out in our community, a 23.2% rate, which is more than double the national average, as you can see there. Our internal goal year over year is 20%, so we even beat that. Often is asked about our opioid-related calls as that the opioid pandemic continues to spread across the country. If you recall, about a year ago, we got a substantial grant from the state to begin to tackle this, and we are making some impact. We are not going up, although we're not going down significantly. The fact that we're going down says something about the program. We have much stronger community involvement now with regards to our opioid educational campaign, and we're actually out in the school system now in 8th and 10th grades, and I'll touch on that a little bit more. The buprenorphine inductions is a special program that we have here in Salisbury, and those people have to be willing and consent to entering a rehab facility, and we've had 5 of those, which is a part of that grant program, which is significant. We initially thought we'd have 1 or 2 a year, and we've already had 5 in 9 months. Our SWIFT team continues to do amazing work. They currently have 35 patients enrolled that they visit on a weekly basis, some more than once in a week. And we have 94 patients that we've seen for our Falls program. Our Falls program is a joint effort between ourselves and Tidal Health, where nurse practitioners, physical therapists, and paramedics go out into the field and they assess homes risks in the home, as well as the patient's actual risks. Don't have any stats right yet because it's only been up and running for about 6 months, but our goal is to reduce fall-related calls 10% per year. We respond to about 1,200 calls where reported as subject fallen in a year. So if we can reduce that, it's 120 less calls. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it is. EMS revenue, year to date for the first 9 months, we've billed out, and this is always one that people notice, we bill out versus what we get paid. So we've billed out so far $7.3 million. Payments lag a little bit behind, and then when they're reported. So we've actually netted close to $1.6 million. We are going to be at or above budget this year, and I should say for FY26, it says FY25, but just keep in mind that that number may seem low compared to what last year's numbers were, but the payments do take time to come in. What is a little bit alarming is our average dollar collected per transport used to trend around $300. It's now down to $275, and that's just because the payers that pay us, the various payers, are paying less and less and less as their budgets get strapped. We are currently working on that Medicaid underpayment reimbursement. It should be somewhere in the neighborhood of $500,000 it comes in. We'll know more about that in December or January, but we're actively working on that with the state. Just this week we had a meeting about it. Fire Marshal's office continues to do just incredible work. Their year to date, your fire department saved $12.1 million in property value as compared to a loss of just over $1.5 million. So it's almost an 8-to-1 ratio of dollar saved for dollar lost. The Fire Marshal's office, which I've said before is a group of 4, they've completed 115 plan reviews, and they've inspected over 1,700 buildings. Those are all commercial occupancies in our fire district. So they're out there every day making sure, following up on complaints from our staff, from the public, and just getting stuff done. So far, they've generated almost $500,000 in revenue, and they will be well over their projected revenue budget for the year. We do causal fire investigations, as I've told you before. The first 9 months of the year, we did 29 fires investigated, which may not seem like a lot, but it's a little bit more than what our average is. And so what they're after is they're going out after the fire and trying to figure out how the fire started, why the fire started, and what we can do to prevent that, which goes back into the beginning of why they started, which is fire prevention, all from the start. We did experience 2 civilian fire deaths, not necessarily in the city limits, but just outside of the city limits. They were in our county portion of our fire district. I'm sure if you follow the news, you saw that. And then we've had 3 civilian fire-related injuries year to date. Some good things as I wrap up with just the success. I would just like to put out there that we have restarted our cadet program. So hopefully we have 5 new members. Our actually second meeting or training night is tonight. So they're there right now. And I'm excited for that. That brings children between 14 and 18 into the fire service at an early age where they can get training. They can come, hang out with the crews, do some hands-on stuff, and help around the firehouse, get them inspired, and then hopefully they can either become a long-time volunteer for us or an employee. So we were able to get that after quite a long pause, get that up and running. Fire Prevention Week, as you know, was in October and was a very busy week for us. And just that week alone, we visited over 1,200 children in the various schools, 120 adults, and just our fire prevention task force went to over 12 schools and daycares visited. That's not counting what the crews who were on duty went and did. In addition to some of the smaller kids come to the fire station for station tours. So. And then I just mentioned about the joint program between us and Tidal Health. That where we are out in the school system currently, 8th and 10th graders at our local schools. It's a 2-day program. They go in and they talk about opioid identification and the dangers, and then they go back the next day and they go over Narcan administration. So that's all about identifications and staying away from those drugs and things as an individual, but also when you go home to maybe help your parents who may be users of opioids to be able to treat them should something happen to them. And it's been well received. And the last thing I'll say, it's not on here, if you are looking for something to do this Friday at 10 o'clock, we are having our Fire Marshal Media Day where we're actually going to set stuff on fire. We are going to simulate a Christmas tree, a live Christmas tree that maybe has not been watered for 3 or 4 weeks. It's the end of the season, and what happens is a lot of times people will not take down their Christmas decorations very quickly, and those trees dry out and they catch fire, and you'll see just how quickly it will go up. The other thing is we're coming up on Thanksgiving. people like to cook turkeys. One of the best way to eat turkeys is to deep fry a turkey. So we're going to overflow the grease intentionally to show you what that will do. We have a simulated prop of a house. So if you're not doing anything, Friday, 10 o'clock, Station 16, please come out. There'll probably be about an hour or so. Zach Bridges will be there narrating it, and our Fire Marshal Eric Kramer will be overseeing everything. So we're kind of excited about that. So
Wow, that's excellent.
yeah, so we're busy on all fronts trying to serve our community the best we can. So if there's any questions, I'll take them now. If not,
I have one,
Sure.
please, Chief. 29 fire investigated. How many of those are questionable in terms, I'm thinking, well, just suspicious fires, basically.
I don't have that number offhand.
Ballpark, is it just a couple usually?
Yeah,
in a year's time?
I would say of those 29 that we've investigated, less than 10 were probably turned over to the state fire marshal's office for the criminal aspect of that. Or suspicious fire in nature. Most of them we can handle, but I would say area of 5 to 10 were, and some of them simply just end up being maybe a threat of arson. And we have to currently refer all those to the state fire marshal's office for the criminal investigation.
You also mentioned on-duty and off-duty. I'd like to give a plug for your family environment that you have with the fire department. I have found that with personal interaction that most of your crew, even if they're off-duty, choose to participate in projects. And that speaks volumes from your leadership and also the crews, that type of thing, and I thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely, they might work their 24-hour shift, but they're putting in a lot of extra time on committees and different training and things like that.
Well, I know personally the kids at Prince Street had a phenomenal time. They
I was
loved
getting ready
it.
to ask, what's the ratio? How outnumbered are you when you got
A lot,
those kids?
especially
A
when we
lot.
go to the trunk or treats too.
Oh, yeah, and you were at our trunk or treat, you were at the big presentation. Fantastic. The staff was so engaging, so sweet to the kids. They were absolutely just heartwarming to see them work with the children. Then you're at our trunk or treat. We had over 500 students, and we had 300 and some parents.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah, and the Salisbury Fire Department was there. It was just amazing. Thank you. But what was interesting about your visit this year is you had the visit, I think, on a Wednesday, and literally Thursday morning by 8 o'clock or 8:30, you were at our building. We had some type of, it was like you guys double dipped on us this year. But the kids loved it. They were out there cheering you guys on and all this in the front yard, and we're like, oh my gosh, we're cold. And, the kids were like, yeah, the fire department's here. And you were climbing the roof and all this. The kids loved it. There was some type of electrical glitch, blah, blah, blah. And then as
They were there for real?
Yes, for real. And then when you guys were pulling away, do you know those kids were waving to all the firemen and women, and then they waved back and then they honked the big truck horn. It was like you know what? This is so sweet. It was just so sweet.
It's the simple, easy things.
It was. It was just so sweet.
Yeah.
So we do admire everything you do. We appreciate everything you do. And the big thing is when I look at these numbers, it just reinforces my concern about the fire service agreement, which I'll be talking about in my comments later. But we definitely need to reevaluate that and relook at that.
Can I ask a question about SWIFT real quick? Because you said you've got 35 patients enrolled. Am I wrong? Is that less than you have had in previous years?
It definitely trends up and down, and I think as I've said before, people never truly leave the program.
Right.
It's when they no longer need the services of SWIFT.
Right.
They still stay in our program, but they're just not followed up on weekly. So right now, at this point, we're 35 people a week that we go and visit.
Gotcha. Well, it's a great program. My father-in-law was participating in it for a while too, and it's a great program, and it's so sorely needed in the community. So we appreciate you guys for having that program.
Thank you.
I appreciate you also because I have not one time had an event that you all and the Salisbury City Police have not attended.
Yeah.
True.
And even if it's a last minute thing, because actually it was last minute last month when I asked you to do it and you were there.
And they went.
And the kids loved you. I even had a ball with the officers and the fire department. It was a great thing, and it doesn't only motivate the kids, it gives the adults something to even look at. When you come in, they see togetherness. They see unity. They see that you care. And that's what's needed. Just being there shows you care. So I appreciate everything you do for the whole entire city and the county, because you all do a whole lot.
We appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and you had a thing over there. I don't know if it was your thing, but it was the vet center?
Yeah, so we hosted the Delmarva Veterans Job Fair, I believe it was, or some a fair where they had.
Yeah.
It was packed. It was
I walked over there, but I didn't go in. But I saw, oh my God.
Yeah.
So, I mean, y'all doing wonderful things. And
Thank you.
you appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Is that it? Good?
I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Great presentation.
Have fun setting things on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really fun.
I might come
actually.
over there for your Pyromania.
Please don't let her. Please don't let her.
No, I don't like fire. No, I'm scared. No, I don't play with fire. No.
All right, next up, we have a council discussion on 112 West Main Street acquisition. Our very own city administrator, Nick Rice.
So the city's entered into a letter of interest to purchase the building on 112 West Main Street, right down the old City Hall building. It's going to be paid for by bond reallocation, with reallocation of bond proceeds. Mainly, we're talking about IS moving over there. I toured IS today, and their building is in need of a lot of improvements that would cost a significant amount of money. This opportunity to bring them downtown, continue the revitalization of downtown, and have them closer to departments downtown, we think is definitely a cost savings and an efficiency standpoint to do that. So, we'll take any questions if you have any.
So would it, under $500,000 you're saying, is the building in that bad of condition? That
They've requested 100,000 in the CIP this year, which we think is probably lower than what they would truly need if they were going to do it. And the other part is they've outgrown that space. I will say that. I mean, they are packed.
They have.
We joked. We walked in. We said we were going to go to their conference room, which is just the center of the building,
Yes.
where all their. And I mean, the other part is they're taking calls. They're doing help desks. The point of somebody being on the phone that's directly across from somebody else being on the phone, and this opportunity to purchase this building and allow them more space is definitely.
And there's additional space in the building beyond what their footprint. Plus, it comes with parking.
I wanted to know.
Yeah, it's good. No.
Question I asked.
It's good.
That's all.
It's a good question. Thank you.
What will you do with the existing, where they are currently?
That I don't know. I think there was some conversations about what it has to be used for based off of what it was purchased for, but that is
Yeah.
definitely a discussion we would have to have at a later point.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Any future you lose would be lower impact, so
Yeah.
it's critical.
I have some ideas.
And the good news is they have a lot of nice equipment and furniture in there that would be able to be moved from that location to the new
I'm
location.
sure. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from Mikhail? Thank you very much. We're looking forward to more information on that for sure.
Awesome.
It's a beautiful building and it belongs to the city for sure. For sure. Okay, we're going to move on to public comment. Again, you have 3 minutes. If you wish to make a comment, please come up to the podium, state your name, and if you are a city resident. And I think you make public comment on the agenda items. This public comment is on agenda items. Anybody?
It's not like
All right, we're gonna, if that's the case, anybody? No, okay. Well, just double checking. We'll pivot to administration comments.
I just have a couple things with Veterans Day being tomorrow. Thank you to all of our vets that have served and are currently serving. The other thing I have is I had the honor of going on the new Higher City tour, and everyone's been great for the last 5 weeks I've been here. But I do want to give a shout out to all of our city employees. We have a lot of really good employees that are doing a lot of really good things. So just wanted to take an opportunity there to say I met with some new hires today, and they were on the tour with me as well. So we talked a little bit more, and we all agreed, it's nice. I've lived in this area for over 12 years now, and there was things I didn't have a clue were even there. I didn't know there was 2 million gallons of water across from Henry Parker. So just little things, you don't know what you don't know, and you get out and you meet people throughout the city, and I will say our departments are doing great things. Our people, we have a lot of really good things happening in Salisbury. So, and then the last thing I have is the mayor and I are headed up to Annapolis. 2 of our SPD officers, Officer Chase Meadows and Officer Luke Kemp, are getting our local government insurance trust life-saving award. So for saving a gentleman's life that was falling on hard times, and whatever that issue may have been, my understanding is those 2 officers took it upon themselves in a very brave situation, and they deserve to be honored. And we're headed up to Annapolis on Thursday for that ceremony. So
Make sure you bring back pictures.
Will do.
Please, please. That's very nice. Very nice to hear, too.
That's all I have.
Mayor?
Okay.
Mayor Taylor?
Yeah, I just want to say more generally that, I feel like sometimes, particularly during public comment, or public comment, not our public comment, that there's this want to create separation between my values and and other people's values, to seem superior to what I value. And I think we're probably more on the same page than not. I think that a lot of this stuff is generated to create a political backdrop, and I don't think that's particularly healthy. I mean, there are people that have spoken about me that I've known my whole life, and could never say that there was an example within our relationship that would be reflective of who I am as a person, and I find that to be difficult to take at times. And it sounds like in cases like this with the Pride Walks, it's been a little bit challenging. And I'm not to pick on Michelle, but just as an example, one of the things that Jake said about how being a bigot, she made some comment about, and don't get me started about his parking space next to the handicap spot at the mayor's office. I had nothing to do with that. That space was created as extra space on the other side of the building. They just said, "Hey, would you want to take your building?" I had nothing to do with it. And if you had a complaint about it, you should have just said something to me or whoever was the decision maker. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I think it's very destructive as leaders of this city to take those kinds of pot shots with no backdrop and no context, because it doesn't help us lead. We've got things to do, to what Eugene said and what Joe said. We've got paving to do, sidewalks to replace, parks to improve, lights, waterways. We've got a shit ton to do. And it wasn't done for a number of years before I got here. We were behind. We're seriously behind. Why you're seeing Waterside after 5 or 6 years is because no one gave a damn for 5 or 6 years. You know why you don't have North Prong? Because nobody gave a damn for 10 years. That's why. So I would just ask everybody to get off your political high horse and recognize that we've got 47 projects in the pipeline. We meet weekly, and it gets testy because I want to get stuff done. Our balance sheet, we've grown $4.5 million on the savings side. We've not raised taxes. We're in a better position than we've ever been financially to do the stuff that we need to do as a city. Stop with all this peripheral stuff. I support you on handicap stuff. That's your passion. Blood's your passion. Homelessness is your passion, Sharon. Veteran stuff is your passion. Mine's preservation and housing. I get it. Let's just unite with our passions. Let's move the ball. Stop it with all the criticisms. I'm on your team. I've been here my whole life, and I'm sick of it. You guys piling up on me like you're superior. I don't get it. I'm this bigot and racist or whatever you want. I'm sick of it. Okay? I'm not that person. I've lived in a more diverse neighborhood than most of the people living in this community, in this room. And didn't have to. Wanted to. Liked it. So tonight, I just wanted to say that because this particular run-up really kind of torqued me a little bit, and I don't appreciate it. We've got a lot of work to do, and I just need to stop playing games, okay? So, on that note, the 15th is the Wild Vibes for the Zoo. And third Friday is the tree line. I'm looking for everybody to come out and we'll celebrate Christmas together, okay? Merry Christmas.
Thanksgiving first.
Right, Thanksgiving's Thursday. You
I'm
forgot the
sorry.
turkey.
Okay.
You forgot the
I'll try
25-pound
not to-
deep fried turkey that the fire department will be coming by to put out.
Okay, I'll try not.
Okay,
Only if it's fried.
Right, only if it's fried and you use that extra oil. Okay, so we're going to pivot to council comments, and Councilwoman DeShield, I know you have a lot of stuff, a lot of community announcements and engagement. Please help us.
It's all right. First of all, I had an airport meeting today, and they are now, since the 5-year plan I shared with you in general quite a while ago, they've accomplished almost everything they had on their 5-year plan. They are starting to work on a 3-year plan because they feel that you don't want to go out too far because there are lots of things that can be changing. Our airport has not been impacted by the shutdown, and hopefully things will get cleared up and we can have smooth sailing. PAC 14 this afternoon was what we did there. They did a needs assessment with CBG, and as you all know, those of you who've been following this, CBG has partnered with the county in terms of franchise with Comcast. And we met to collect data that will be turned over to the attorney, Dan Cohen, and regarding this franchise agreement with Comcast for a 10-year MOU. And we got into a lot of conversation regarding the changes that are facing Comcast as far as subscribers and things like that. But more importantly, we have discussed here at the City Council that are we truly getting what has been promised to the city and the county from this franchise based upon subscribers. I did find out we wanted to address the issue of Comcast getting money for internet, but evidently that is not an option for the franchise. Ashley's shaking her head. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. The other thing is, Rob told you about the fire that you can go attend, April. Saturday, I think Nick or Randy mentioned the Wild Vibes. That is anybody that wants to get a babysitter and have a night out. It's over 21, so that's all you have to do and have a good time. Because Chuck will be there with flags raised, I'm sure. It's a great fundraiser. That's the biggest part that we want to think about. Guess what? You're going to be hearing this. Go Google Hands and Hearts Ending Homelessness. My friend and I are in charge of the kitchen again this year. We had a year off. So I'm putting a challenge out there to the city and anybody sitting here. Those of you that are sitting here, find 4 other friends, divvy up a recipe, and make it for 36 men a hot meal. I am trying to fill 151 dinners over a 5-month span for the homeless shelter for men. And low barrier, so we are, we seem to be very popular. So anyway, just go to Hands and Hearts. I have to commend, this is not a threat to you, Chief Frampton. It is just, you don't have to do, the fire department did 5 dinners last year. You do not have to meet that goal again, honestly. 1 is great. So anybody here, it's easier if you get 4 or 5 people together and divvy up the recipe because it's expensive and it's fun to do that. Then you can come out and serve with us. But 36 cots we set up. So we will start this Sunday on the 16th. So you'll hear about that. There are 4 things I'd like us to think about, Vice President Blake.
Yes.
I think we need to address Ordinance 2918, the towing section that Mr. DiCarlo mentioned, to get clarification on that he mentioned at the last meeting. The noise ordinance, I believe, where is Joe back there? I've had other calls about the gas blowers, and thanks to our intern, Matt, has found there are municipalities that don't allow them at all. And I'm not suggesting that because those of us, I can't do my yard anymore, so I do not want to kind of handcuff any of the landscapers or anybody cutting grass because that is their livelihood. But we might want to review our noise ordinance and or the time slots involved with that, if you don't mind. So the towing, the noise, and I know that the mayor and I have talked about a housing task force. And that's something that we've heard you, we're listening. Honestly, we are going to act. I think that's it, girls and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Councilwoman Jackson?
I had the experience to meet with Lilia Lindsay
Yeah.
at the Salisbury City Police Department, and I'd like to commend her on her services. She came and helped those young people because they were very young children, this lady lived, not babies, but 19 and 21, that didn't have idea of how to do anything or to handle business. And she came out and she sat with both families, and helped them go through paperwork, something that is much needed in the city of Salisbury, because there are people who don't even know about these grants and funding that they can get for being a victim. And she was superb. She was really superb. I stayed there with her while she did it. She came to my apartment. We sat down. I let her do it. I said, I'm not doing anything because, you know, you're legal. I'm not. But I am like the grandmother, but I just don't want to get into that. You know how people are when death comes upon you. But she did an excellent job, and I thank her so much for doing such a marvelous job. I want to get back to moving of the belongings of the homeless. As we know, those belongings are all they have. That's their lives. When you take them from them, they're just lost. I mean, they become irate. They're protective over their things. So I wanted to know if the city and Deborah from Hope could work together, and if not anything, instead of throwing the stuff away, put it in a pod. If it's in a little backpack or something, get a pod and put it in a pod form. And so they'll, if they come to Deborah, because she deals with the homeless constantly, help them. I mean, because that's all some of them have. And starting over for them is like buying a brand new home and they know they can't afford it. And I worked with the homeless numerous of times. Many years I worked with the homeless, and I actually used to see them, if somebody touched their belongings, how upset they would get. So we need to find out a way, and homeless are us too. They're people too. So we must have compassion for them. I'm not saying have pity for them, but compassion for them and how they are living at this present time, because they may not always be there, and they may be able to either help one of us one day, or they may be able to look in our faces and say, thank you for what you done for me. And that's what I think about the most when it comes to people. And Mayor, you said I was for the veterans, but I'm for everybody. Everybody. I'm just not for the veterans. I'm for everybody, however it works. It works if I got to tweak in here and tweak in there and tweak in there. Everywhere, I just do it. Because that's what we're here for, the people.
Yes, sure.
A PS on what April's saying, not just dinners for the shelter. You are welcome to come and interact with the men. We have puzzles set up, and they are not scary. People have said to me, "Oh, they're so afraid," and and no, they're not. They're people just like you and I.
As a matter of fact, you had fun with some of them, because some of them were very funny, and they're loving. For real, they really are.
Yeah.
Very smart, too. Very intelligent.
Might be the only hug they get all day.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Councilwoman Gregory?
Well, first of all, Sharon, I hope the council will join me in helping cook something too. I think I'm not sure if we can do the 5 dinners and keep up with the entire fire department, and I promise this time I will properly measure the cornbread.
It's all right. It's all right.
It was a little tall last time.
It's all right.
And
It doesn't matter. It still cuts and serves.
It was a little more vertical than it should have been, but that's okay. That's okay.
I hope every department
Yes, that would be wonderful. I think that would be a great project for.
They don't have to go
the
through
entire
me.
department.
Just sign up online.
Yes. So I've got a couple of things here. So the first thing I want to bring attention to is there is a new tenants association for Wycomico County. My friend Demetria Marshall Leonard has formed this tenants association. It's been in the news. If you are interested, you can either reach out to me, or if you know Demetria, reach out to her. But they are hoping to connect tenants together for, if nothing else, to make sure that folks know what their rights are. They've already had one meeting in which a tenants' rights attorney came out and spoke. It was a wonderful meeting. It was a small crowd, but it was a crowd that was definitely passionate about improving their circumstances. So if you're interested, please look up. I know they've got a Facebook page and all of that. You can find them if you just search for Wicomico Tenants Association. The other thing is that I have been asked to read a stewardship statement from the formerly PFLAG organization. We are proud to have installed Maryland's first Rainbow, Trans Pride, and Progress Pride crosswalks. We have also appreciated our time as stewards and financial sponsors of said crosswalks. Finally, we want to make clear that we have exhausted every relationship we have at the state, Attorney General, and Maryland Office of Civil Rights levels and to attempt to protect our beloved crosswalks. Alas, the final decision came down to the mayor of the city of Salisbury, who strongly believes the crosswalk is divisive. Please know we appreciate the support that we have received from members of the Salisbury City Council, the general public, and the Maryland Commission for the LGBTQIA+ Affairs for their assistance. We are confident that in the end, love always wins, and that the spirit of our crosswalk and its history will persist. So here's where I'm going to get into the personal comments that the mayor just said. Mr. Mayor, if you don't want to be called a bigot, don't do bigoted things.
Okay.
Now, in regards to the statement I made about the disabled parking, I had raised that question, and that was a project in progress prior to you coming in, and then somehow magically your parking spot got moved right there. Now, how you've gotten out of that vehicle every day and thought that that space next to you was accessible when the only point of exit for a vehicle with a side entry is in a spot that is blocked by the very ramp that's meant to make it accessible is beyond me. If you have walked up that step every single time, I should not have had to point it out to you. You should have visibly seen it. You should have seen where they were putting it. If you didn't have any say over it or you didn't make any decision for it, you should have looked at that and said, that's wrong, I need you to move that. But the fact of
Hold on, please.
The fact remains that you sat there and have gotten out of your vehicle every day and walked past it and never noticed it. And that
I still know what you're talking about.
That is the fact of disability. Well, I suggest the next time you get out of your vehicle, when you pull into the office tomorrow, is to watch where that parking line is and where the end of the ramp is and realize that nobody can get out of their vehicle unless they have a back of the van access. Nobody can get across that ramp to come up it. There also should have been railings installed on that ramp ages ago. So, to sum up, and I don't need a response, Mr. Mayor.
I'm sure you don't.
No, I don't.
Listen, I'm going to call to order. Listen, Mayor Taylor and Councilwoman Gregory, just call to order. Mayor Taylor, everyone gets a chance. You had your chance. It's Councilwoman Gregory's chance.
I did not cut you off or rebut you
just
or anything like that.
One person just speak at a time. That's all we're asking. Okay?
I'm not speaking.
I have tried to be patient over issues, but it has been 2 years now. And to see the same belligerence and snotty attitude come out of you because somebody says something that hurts your feelings as you sit there crossing your arms is shameful and embarrassing for me.
The other thing that's embarrassing is you.
One person speak at a time, please.
Let me say something.
No,
you're on and on and on and on and on. Let me just counterpoint your point.
Councilwoman Gregory has the floor. Councilwoman Gregory has the floor.
Thank you.
It's supposed to be
Councilwoman Gregory has the floor.
Fair enough.
It's not a discussion period. This is council comments period. You've had your comments.
It's a slash
now
and
it is
burn.
mine.
Just, please, one person at
Go
a
ahead.
time. Thank you.
I would just ask that you take a minute and breathe and learn that public office and being in the public eye and serving this city means you're going to take criticism that you don't like and makes you feel bad. But that does not mean that you get to scold the people that are making you feel bad by their criticisms. And I think that there have been a lot of constructive criticism sent to you.
and you have refused to even engage in it.
I've never even heard this before.
One person
Michelle.
speak at a time.
Okay.
Thank
Hold
you.
on. Can I speak now, or is it
Go
over?
on, please.
I'm going to wrap
Is this
this
going
up.
to go on for 2 days?
But
What's
I
going on?
appreciate,
Mayor Taylor, please. We're not going to put, you know what, we're going to stop this right now. We're not going to do this, okay? Look, it's a new time. We're
That's
pivoting.
amazing.
We're pivoting. We're pivoting. Let's pivot. Let's one person at a time, okay?
This is exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
This is embarrassing. This sort of diversion.
Okay.
If this was important to you, why wouldn't you say a word?
All right,
I've never
can we
heard
take
a
this-
word
can we
about
take
it.
this off?
This is your advocacy. It's terrible.
You two can take it out offline.
Okay.
You can take this offline.
thank you, Madam President.
I'm going to make some comments now and move forward. I do want to thank April Jackson for your domestic violence proclamation tonight. It's a very important topic, and I'm very pleased to say, not only on this proclamation, but I want to point out that Ms. Jackson often brings up either health issues, Cancer Society, proclamations. She's always keeping people aware and educating the community, and I appreciate that. I want to congratulate the Planning Commission, and we look to moving the city forward. And I think there's a lot of good work coming ahead with the Planning Commission. And I think there's going to be a lot of substantive stuff, and it's going to be interesting to see how we can get that up and running. So that's going to be a challenge, but I know we're up for it. I want to give I want to remind people in District 2, resumes and letter of intent. They're due Friday, November the 21st at 4:30 p.m. That's a Friday. More details will be on the Salisbury social media tomorrow. Is that correct? Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much. Great. And we look forward to the letters that come in so we can appoint to District 2 and so we can have a full council. I'm very impressed with the city's planning for the Truett Street Gym expansion and for the Waterside Park improvements. I know there's been long-time advocacy, not only on Ms. Jackson's part in regards to the parks, but the Truett Street gyms, and actually going back to youth gyms, no, not youth gyms, youth centers, period. So that's really nice to see. We are at a moment of pivoting. The Salisbury City has been in this position before, where we've had to change leadership, we've had to appoint people. We will move on as we always have. I want you to know what is coming up. We're going to be talking about Housing First program. We're going to be discussing the election reform. We're going to be discussing mayor and council's salary going into the next election. We're going to be talking about a TIF policy. We're going to be talking about a fire service agreement, county tax differential on the 24th. And this is to this will be very interesting for all of us, but I think especially Councilwoman DeShield and Jackson, who have attended and took notes and spent time going through the first round of housing, I want to say, task force. There was one. We're going to get all those notes. We're going to pull all of that together, get that information, and on the 24th, we're going to have special guests, the Assistant Secretary of Homelessness Solutions, Daniel Mister, and Kevin Lamode, a CEO Healthcare of the Homeless, to join the City Council to provide best practices, research-based ideas, and programming, just to give us another avenue. And I have a feeling that what they're going to be talking about is the very same things that was talked about in, I think it was like a 9-monthly meeting.
No, we had 4 meetings.
Oh, that was it? 4 meetings?
We had 4 meetings at the fire department, and it was community input. It wasn't a task force. It was just getting input.
From the
feelings
people on the housing?
From the people, our public that we serve.
On housing, though?
On housing.
Yeah, on housing, okay, on topic of housing. Okay, there'll be more interesting details coming up about rail to trails, about the regional impact and the regional movement, the progress. You can always look at, you can always call me for updates on the rails to trails. That's a longer discussion, too. But a lot of good things happening there. So there are many things that are great about Salisbury. We're going to pivot, we're going to move on, and there's so many things to look forward to, especially as we finish out this year and we boldly go into the next year with a lot of robust activities and things on our agenda. So with all of that said, this meeting is adjourned, and it is 7:43.